By the end of this video, you will be able to understand some common terminologies related to web development, such as the internet, IP address, etc. Understand what a web server is and its role. Understand how a browser and a web server communicate with each other. Hi, welcome back. When we stream some movies online or buy something online, can you guess what is the common thing that we require to do in both these things? Just think for a moment. It's pretty simple. Well, you might have thought of internet, which is absolutely correct. The internet is something that helps us to connect with family, friends, and enables us to do plenty of other things online. Before we proceed to understand more about the term internet, let us first understand another associated term, network. Network, in simplest words, means an interconnection of computers. A network facilitates computers to communicate with each other if the computers are part of the same network. Networks can be of any size, ranging from 2 computers to any number of computers. For example, you can have a small home network to which all computers at your home are connected. Similarly, you can have a medium-sized network covering your entire college campus to which all the computers on the campus are connected. And then we have the biggest network, which is spread globally with billions of devices connected to it. It's called the internet. The internet is a global network to which all the computers in the world are or can be connected. Now that you know what the internet is, let us look at how a website on the internet works. To understand this, we will look at two aspects. One, how a web server is able to identify the client, and the other is how a client is able to identify the server. Let us start with the first one. So, has it ever happened to you that you tried opening some website by entering its URL in the browser, but some other website got opened? Well, we can comfortably say that never ever, right? Then the interesting question is, why is there never a mix-up, even though there are millions of websites on the internet and millions of users are trying to access those websites? Well, this is because every device that is connected to the internet has a unique address, and that is known as the IP address. An IP address looks something like this, where phone numbers ranging from 0 to 255 are combined with dots. This IP address is used to uniquely identify a computer over the network. Means if a computer whose IP is say X has requested google.com, the Google server will send this response only to the computer whose IP is X. Now, let us discuss the second aspect of the example, that is how the computer with X address is able to identify a server, that is Google. To understand this, let us first understand the terms web server and host. This is a normal computer which you, me, and everyone around us uses. Now, if I install a software called web server on this computer, the same computer will be referred to as a web server or a server. Now, once this server is installed on a computer, it allows it to host a website. For example, imagine Google wants to host its website using this computer. Now, I have installed a web server on my computer. I can put Google's website online or host this website which the other users can access on the internet. In other words, I cannot publish a website or host a website if I do not have a web server installed. Well, there are a few more technical things and aspects related to hosting, and we won't get into the details as it is beyond the scope of this training. To summarize, once we install a web server on a computer, we refer to the computer as a server or web server or a host. To keep things simple, we will refer to it as a server throughout the training. Note that every website that exists on the internet has its own server. That is, Google will have its own server that will host Google's website, Internshala will have its own server that will host Internshala's website, and so with all the websites in the world. Now the important question that lies here, how does a browser or a client identify which server is hosting which website? That is, if we want to open google.com, the request only goes to Google's web server and not to Internshala's web server. This means there must be something in between this communication channel that is helping our browser to locate the correct web server corresponding to the website we have requested. So, to help our browser find the computer that is hosting the website we are looking for, there are some other special computers provided by our internet providers such as Airtel, Jio, etc. that run a software known as the DNS or domain name server. This DNS maintains a table that maps all the website names on the internet to the IP addresses of their corresponding computers. In technical terms, the website name is also referred to as a domain name. So don't get confused as these terms are often used interchangeably. And the process of finding the IP from the DNS server by the browser is called DNS lookup. Now that we know a bit about the web server and how a browser finds the relevant server, let us understand this entire